Welcome in our workshop To Freelance or Not to Freelance. You probably subscribed because you want to become a freelancer. Great, and congratulations. I hope the noise is fine, so please don't hesitate to write something in the chat box shouldn't I don't speak clear or if the noise is not okay. I am Sophia from HR Builders, and Cécile Dorigny-Sicard is also joining this conversation, so she will be happy to answer your questions that you put in the chat box. I know a lot of people who are not happy in their professional life. A lot of people who stay stuck in their corporate life and they think about making a change, but they don't do it for whatever reason. And some people want to make a career change, but they don't do it. Why? For fear, or for not having a steady income, for the insecurity, or not being able to make it work on their own. Well, today we tell you your life can change in becoming a freelancer. And you should believe it. Because if you don't like where you are, change it. You're not a tree. So welcome in our webinar. We will try to give you some insights in our way of working with freelancers. We cannot go into detail. However, should you have a question, you can type it in the chat box and we will try to answer your question during the webinar. And after the webinar, you can definitely contact one of our 3 international business partners, Cécile, Sigrun, or myself, Sophia. We work in most Western European countries, and because of our background and nationality, we specialize in certain countries. Cécile is French, so she speaks French and English. Sigrun is Belgian, but she lived a long time in Germany and knows the country very well. And myself, I'm also Belgian. I live in France and will be back in Belgium soon. Don't hesitate to call us, to mail us, or to follow us on Twitter. What is the content for today's webinar? We will talk about market trends. The market is ready, so are you ready? We will tell you something about HR Builders. Who are we and what do we do? Of course, we will tell you something about our entry managers. Who are they and where do they come from? And definitely, what about the daily fee you can expect and other concerns like pension funds, sickness, etc. And last but not least, we will give you some contact details of partners we work with who can help you to set up your own company or your own structure. After the webinar, we will also send you the presentation so you can look into details in the slides. Market trends, the first subject of today. And in fact, last week in Harvard Business Review, we found this interesting article. Who wins in the gig economy and who loses? And in fact, we are very happy because this article shows that we are right, that freelancing is really the future. And workers with specialized skills and deep expertise, they will win in the gig economy. Why? They can count on attractive compensation. They can choose to do challenging and interesting work. They can structure their own working lives. Also, entrepreneurial workers will win. Independent workers who are comfortable with and excited about developing their own income streams, who will market themselves, and who connect with others, are best positioned to take advantage of the main opportunities in the new economy. And yes, we are living in a new economy. The world is changing a lot. And also, one of the trends we want to show you in this webinar follows from a research that is delivered by Deloitte University. It really is a very interesting article, and I really invite you to Google it up after this webinar to learn more about their market trends. Because the new economy drives fundamental changes in the way we work. And Deloitte identifies 4 drivers, and you can see them here. Demographic upheaval. Of course, we have the millennials working close to baby boomers. Of course, technology. Technology is everywhere, disrupting business models and radically changing the workplace and the way work is done. Another driver for change is the speed in the exponential economy. The rate of change has accelerated enormously. Rapid business model innovation from companies such as, and you know them all, Uber and Airbnb are forcing organizations to respond and reposition themselves quickly to meet new challenges. And the 4th driver, and this is what it is all about today, is the new social contract between employer and worker. So really, this is a trend, and it's not going to stop. There is a new social contract developing between companies and workers. The relationship between employee and employers is changing drastically. The days when a majority of workers could expect to spend a career moving up the ladder at one company, really, believe us, they are over. People anticipate working for many employers, and they demand an enriching experience at every stage. This leads to expectations of a compelling and flexible workplace and a sense of mission and purpose at work. Today, contingent, contracts, part-time or freelance workers make up 1/3 of the workforce in the United States. 1/3. So 1 in 3 US workers are freelancers, and it's a figure expected to grow to 40% by 2020. And this year's survey of Deloitte confirms that the contingent workforce has gone global. So contingent workforce means people who don't have a permanent contract in a company. 51% of the people who filled in the survey of Deloitte said that they are sure that there will be an increase, a significantly increase of the use of contingent workers in their company. And companies such as Airbnb, Uber, and even HR builders embody this trend. So really, it's a market trend. So if you consider becoming a freelancer, don't hesitate, because on a global scale, we see that freelancing is increasing. So as I said, worldwide, freelancers represent a significant segment of all human resources, making up 30% of all the employees. Even in the US, 40.4%. And the freelancer economy is not going away, it just started. And if you want to write your business plan, you can use these figures to put them in it, to convince yourself to convince people in your context that the freelancer economy is not going away, it is growing. The best is yet to come. Companies like Airbnb, Uber have derived their whole competitive advantage from these workers. And maybe you too in the future. On this slide, you can also see some figures. And depending on the country where you are based, you can see how freelance work is represented in your country. Of course, we know that in the UK, which is an extremely well-developed freelance company, 15% of people, of workers are already self-employed. And this was in 2011. Also in the Netherlands and Belgium, we are talking about the mature market. Whereas in France, for example, there it is a growing economy, though less rapid than in other European countries. Today, 40% of Americans are estimated to be freelancers. And in 2020, freelancers are expected to make up 50% of the full-time workforce. So really, this is quite amazing if you see those figures. And every day you can see other studies on the internet. A lot of blogs are talking about it. I really invite you to look on social media to discover that it is a growing economy. You can be sure of it. Also a trend is that a lot of people in corporate organizations aren't engaged in their jobs. A lot of people are unhappy. And we know in our experience that freelance people are far more happy if they are independent and working for themselves. We also hear from client companies that support functions will disappear. Overhead costs must be cut. So what will those big companies do? HR functions will disappear and the role will be taken by freelancers. A freelancer has expertise. A freelancer has added value from day one. They work on a very specific subject. A company has a problem, the freelancer comes in with his expertise and adds value from day one. If you ask to do the same job in your company and somebody has to learn how to solve the problem, it takes time and it costs money. Already a lot of big companies, they know that if they work with a freelancer, they can have better results and save costs. So yes, the best is yet to come. So I hope you are convinced now that the market is ready. The question is, are you ready to quit your boss and to start up your own business? In 2015, HR Builders did a research and we asked our freelancers if they were considering returning in a permanent position. And definitely people who choose to become a freelancer, they find it very unlikely to go back in a permanent position. And what are the reasons to become a freelancer? First of all, being independent, variety, you can choose your own projects, you can do different things in different contexts, in different industries, in different regions, maybe why not in different countries. It gives you a lot of freedom. You can choose to do what kind of projects you do and when you do your projects. And also from a flexibility perspective, we see the growing trend that companies and freelancers, they work together in a very flexible way. In our contracts, we say, okay, this person will work in average, let's say 4 days a week, but depending on the work, that can be 1 day or in a week where there is really a lot of work, it can be full-time and even more. And yes, okay, we are totally transparent within HR Builders. Disadvantages of freelancing are definitely the uncertainty. We cannot guarantee you having permanently a job. And yes, it's difficult to plan ahead. We are very transparent on this, that there are disadvantages. But if you look at freelancers, they are far more happy than when they were in a permanent position. And the majority of freelancers are really starting by choice. Before, a lot of people, and then I speak mainly, maybe the more senior people at the end of their career, they lost their job. It was impossible for them to find another permanent position, and it was more a necessity to become a freelancer. Well, now we also see a shift. 67% of freelancers agree that more people are choosing to work independently today compared to 3 years ago. So it really is a choice. And even also younger people. So if we look at the age of our entry managers, then we have people from 30 to 58, even 60. What kind of missions an entry manager can do? They help companies to deal with unusual and complex situations like restructuring and reorganization, or it can also be to manage day-to-day operations. For example, when somebody is sick, when somebody leaves the company, during maternity leave. The duration, within HR Builders, we also see that in average, our assignments take up from 6 to 18 or even more months. We have entry managers already in an assignment for more than 2 years. And who is talking about uncertainty? Who can be sure to have a job for life these days? Good entry managers with a certain expertise, they have the choice to choose their projects. And it's very rare that they don't have a job. How to minimize uncertainty? Well, by developing a network. And that is really important for you as an entry manager. When you decide to become a freelancer, every day you should work on developing your network. How? Via friends and family. It's the #1 way to find freelance work. Don't underestimate it. When you are at a party, just tell people that you are freelancing and what you are doing. Stay in contact with professional contacts. Don't underestimate it. Also, look on social media. We at HR Builders, we post a lot of our assignments on our websites. You can follow us on Twitter. And there exist a lot of freelance platforms where you can scroll and see which opportunities there are. And even a lot of companies are already posting their freelance assignments on LinkedIn. Now I'm going to tell you something about HR Builders, not to do promotion, but to explain you how an interim agency works and how we can help you to build up your freelance career. HR is in our DNA. We are with 3 international business partners. So these are the 3 of us. So I am Sophia. Cecile is also joining this conversation. And then we have a 3rd business partner. And then we have 3 people in Belgium who are working on the Belgian market. Robbie, Isabel, and Hilde. And the country manager Belgium is Leslie. And the captain of our company, the founder, is Katrien de Vos. Katrien really believes in the concept, and we we also do. And therefore, we just decided to work together with 2 other companies, and she created finance builders and sales builders. So you can find out more on our website to see the press release, because we really believe in this kind of the new way of working. But HR Builders, of course, is specialized in HR, only HR. It's our niche HR. We only work with freelance people, so we don't have people on our payroll. You should have your own company, or you can work with an umbrella company. I will explain more about that later in the presentation. And we only work on temporary assignments: short-term, long-term, full-time, part-time. HR Builders is number 1 in our domestic markets. We have growing international presence in Europe, and we know 2,000 HR managers, directors, professionals. Those 2,000 persons are screened in person. So every week, each of us has interviews with interim managers. We ask about your preferences, your specialties, language skills, in what kind of countries do you want to work, what kind of missions do you like. And today, in average of those 2,000 people, 60 people are working for us, of which 20% work internationally. So if you're interested to do freelance work, don't hesitate to contact us to have an interview. Then we will have a talk, and when we have an assignment that pops up, maybe we call you. Some numbers: we are 9 years in business, number 1 in Belgium. Until today, we managed 375 assignments. 20% of our revenue is international, and it takes us only 1 week to solve a client's problem. So if a client calls us and they ask for an interim manager, within 1 week, we can present the right person who is available immediately and who has the right skill sets. We have about 150 clients, and you can see here the clients we are working for. Mainly big organizations are working with interim managers, and you will see a lot of names that you know. And our clients, well, we are growing in Belgium and also in Europe. So yeah, you can have a look. In 2014, in Belgium, we had 47 assignments, internationally 8. And here you can see also that we are growing, because in 2016 until today, we did in Belgium 58 assignments, and internationally we have had 24 assignments. What kind of positions do we have within HR Builders? A lot of talent acquisition, which is recruitment, and it can be from operational to a management position. We also have a lot of generalist functions, like HR manager or HR business partner. And we also have 11% hard HR, specialists, compensation and benefits, payroll. 6% is social relations and restructuring. 11% HRIS, where we see that Workday is really booming internationally. So if you have a specialization in HRIS systems, we definitely should talk. And then we have 26% specialists in soft HR, in the domain of learning and development, talent management, etc. On our website, you can see the kind of assignments we have right now, and you can also find them on our LinkedIn page and on Twitter. We always post very small information about an assignment, and we ask you then to contact the person who is mentioned in the announcements, and then quickly that person will contact you to align whether this assignment is something for you or not. But that's really important for you as a freelancer. Stay in touch with your network. If you do an assignment, tell us. Send us a mail and say, hi, Sophia, hi, Cecile. I'm doing now an assignment. This is the scope, and I will be available then. For example, October. And then in October, then you send us a mail, or you ask us to drink a coffee, and then we'll meet. You can also attend our seminars. We organize regularly workshops in Belgium, but also abroad. This is a workshop we did in France. It's good to meet us, and it can be virtually via Skype or via internet. It can also be during one of our webinars, during one of our seminars, and you can look on our website all the workshops that we organize. It really is important for you as a freelancer to connect with your network. Don't underestimate it, because when you are working, it's difficult to keep in touch. You're fully in the work, you're very busy, but then the day that your assignment stops, then it takes a lot of time to reactivate your network again. So try to meet your network, stay in contact, and for us, send us update mails. If we today receive a call from one of our clients, immediately we know, okay, I got a mail last week of person X, and I know that that person is available as from, I will call him, and then so we are able within 1 week to match the right person to the right assignment. These are pictures of real entry managers we have, and we have people who worked for us in London, Faye. We have a Danish girl who worked for us in Paris, for example. We have a Turkish person who also worked for us in Paris. This is an Italian guy who worked for us, Gianpaolo. Amy is Italian. So we have a very international people who work for us for the international part. But of course, for the Belgium team, we have a lot of Belgian people. Don't hesitate to contact us so we can get to know you, and maybe one day we will work together. What I also want to tell you is that as a freelancer, it's important to keep really updated, to be a trendsetter, to show that you are an expert. You should follow webinars. You also should think about your own development. And therefore, HR Builders is organizing workshops. During the day you are working, and the day that you are not working because you want to follow a training, well, then you can't invoice. And therefore, HR Builders is organizing workshops in the evening hours for and by freelancers. So freelance people, they propose us to give a workshop about a certain theme, and then you can attend for free that workshop in order to develop your skills. It's really important for you as a freelancer to keep up with the new trends and to show your client that you know what is going on. Because we, as an agency, we sell you as a senior expert who will bring added value from day one. We are already to chapter 5 here, and I will tell you something about the daily fee. As a beginning freelancer, well, it's difficult to know, okay, how much should I invoice? It's a difficult question, and it really depends on the scope. It depends on the country. It depends on the length of the assignment. We consider 3 levels. A strategic entry manager is level A. An operational entry manager who's working on operational level, level C, and organizational entry manager, level B. What is the scope of the project for a strategic entry manager? Well, it's quite clear that that person will help the client to define what to do and how. So the organizational entry manager is responsible for own quality outputs and project planning. So the strategy is already defined, and the organizational entry manager will take the project and will execute it. But he is responsible for his own work. Whereas an operational entry manager, he executes a well-defined internal practice projects independently. For example, a recruiter. The mission is clear, the strategy is clear, the organization outlined the do's and don'ts and the how, and this person will execute, he will do. The strategic entry manager will define what should be done, and he also will execute, because it's important to know that our freelancers, they are not consultants, they also have an operational responsibility. The organizational entry manager is working on the how. Yeah, so strategic defines the what, the how, and the to-do. Organizational defines the how, and the operational entry manager will execute. He does. Strategic entry manager or level A entry managers, they are working in global, regional, or local assignments, whereas an operational entry manager will work locally, a recruiter based in Brussels, for example. Whereas the strategic entry manager will define the global strategy for a multinational company in talent acquisition. Here, the person should have, well, it's an average, it can depend, and we are very flexible in that, but let's say an average 15 years of experience. An operational entry manager, it can be less than 10. We have recruiters with less experience. It can be 1 year or 2 years. As long as they are expert in their domain, you can be an operational entry manager. And about the daily fees, what you can invoice from HR Builders, because we will have a contract with you, will be in a strategic role between 700 euro and 1,150 euro a day. So each day you work, you can invoice in average this amount. On a B level, between 560 euro and 850 euro, and in an operational role between 450 euro and 650 euro. So HR Builders will set up a contract with you, and HR Builders will set up a contract with the client. The client will pay a different fee to HR Builders. We take a markup. So here, the fees that you can see here are really the fees that you can invoice. So if you work 20 days in a month, if you have a salary of 500 euros, that makes that you can invoice 10,000 euros in a month. Brutto margin, of course. Yeah. These are average figures. We always have to negotiate with the client. It depends also from the client's budgets, but that's the role of us as an agency, to negotiate and to tell you in all transparency if the fee that you are asking for is correct, or if you have a fee who is too high. If we look at other people with the same skill set, we are really transparent in that, and we will guide you through that negotiation process. That's really our role. And we will also tell our clients if their expectations are not realistic. If they want, let's say, pay only 500 euros for a strategic entry manager, then we will tell them that they are not realistic and we will not take the assignment. So now you know something more about the fee you can ask for. But we know that freelancers also have concerns about, okay, the cost of my healthcare. My income will be unpredictable. Is it manageable? How shall I save for my retirement? What about taxation? If I can invoice 10,000 euros, okay, what will be at the end of the month? How much will I have in my pocket to spend? Interesting questions, of course, and it depends from country to country. Therefore, we will give you some contact details of persons you can contact. We partner with them. And if you would like to set up your own company, you can contact Nikki Leuten with Multipen. She is also presenting during our real life workshops. There she explains everything about your own structure, how to set up your own company, how to optimize fiscal aspects, etc. Internationally, you can contact a bookkeeper or a lawyer, and you explain your situation. You should present a small business plan. Depending on your level, you can say, okay, I plan to invoice between 450 and 1,000, 1,200 euros. And then, depending on your situation, you can define whether or not you will set up your own company. Because we must say that it's not for everybody interesting to set up his own company, and an alternative is working via an umbrella company, which is called in France portage salarial, and in the UK they call it umbrella company. And an umbrella company is an intermediate company between the contractor and, in this case, HR builders. Yeah, and that company will organize your payments and your whole administration. If you have your own company, then you will have to organize and set up the whole administration process. Working via an umbrella company, you are an employee. If the difference is not clear, don't hesitate to call us. We can explain you all about this. But in France, we have very good relationships with Admission. In France and Paris, you can contact Marion Delaunay. In Lyon, Florence Bouteille can guide you through the process. And all other people who are planning to work in international projects, they can contact their sister company, Sage. They are based in Switzerland. And Bernard Rosens can look with you if working via an umbrella company should be the right decision. I'm not going to go into detail right now because it's too specific, but please know that we are happy to help and to guide you through all the details about how to set up a company working via an umbrella company. We can give you pros and cons because we have within our team, within our HR builders team, also experience with the different structures. So should you need more info, contact us. We are there for you. We are happy to help. Send us a mail or call us, and definitely we will send you the slides. So if you have other questions after this webinar, feel free to ask. I can see that somebody had a question for us. So the question is, do you clients offer success fee based projects for doing restructuring for cost savings? So I understand that the question is if we work with success fees. Well, in fact, no, we didn't have the case yet, as Cecile is answering. Normally, we have with each client a fixed daily fee that the client should pay. And if the person works, then the daily fee can be invoiced. And if you're on holiday, if you're sick, or if you're not working, then we will not invoice. Until now, we never had the case that we worked with a success fee, but why not? And as Cecile is writing, each case is specific and it can be considered, especially when the client has budget restrictions. It can be an option, but until now, we never had the case. So I don't see other questions. we will keep open the webinar for half an hour. So should you have other questions, don't hesitate to ask them. Thank you very much for your attention. And maybe we'll meet you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great day.